live commentary here on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland Extra, on medium wave, on digital and online at bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. It is Midtjylland against Hibernian with Joel Murray, Scott Allen and Al Lamont.
Thanks very much, Liam. Hibernian looking to pick up where they left off last season and take their fabulous league form from the second half of 24-25 into the new campaign, which begins in central Jutland this evening. There's no doubt this is a tough task, but if Hibs can hit the heights of last campaign, you'd like to think they're capable of really testing the Danish league runners-up over the course of the two legs. As Brian was saying earlier, it's bright now out in Denmark, still well into the 20s, but pretty muggy, I gather, out there for the players. But Hibs will be hoping to deal with the conditions and indeed the opposition in front of them, who are clearly seasoned operators at this kind of level, much more experienced than their Hibs counterparts. Hibs back in Europe after a season's absence last year. But their experience prior to that, they got to the playoff stages before succumbing to the might of Aston Villa. John McGinn and co, just too much for them, but hoping to get into the Europa League proper this time around. And certainly if they could get past this obstacle, which is a significant one, then as Liam said, Fredrikstad lie in wait in the next round, and they would not be deemed as difficult, but of course we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, hopefully. But the players now pretty much ready to get off and running. The referee and his officials all from Germany, as Brian told us. Robert Schroeder is the man in the middle, and we are pretty much good to go. The Danes lining up for their team photo pre-match. A 3-3 draw on home turf in their first game of the campaign. As Liam said, they had to come from behind on a couple of occasions, and it was a late equaliser from Francolino. And certainly watching the highlights of that game, he looks a real talent, the Guinea-Bissau international. He got a couple of goals at the weekend, and it looks like he will be a real threat alongside the Polish international Adam Buksa up front. That's a twin strike force for Hibs to deal with over the course of the evening. And Dario Osorio, the Chilean winger, is also a real threat down that right hand side. So it looks like Hibernian are going to be the ones to get us off and running. They're in their traditional home kit, green and white top, white shorts, green socks, and the home side kitted out in red and black stripes a la AC Milan, as the visitors from Leith kick us off in Denmark and look to make an early impression, getting the ball forward to Martin Boyle at the edge of the box. He tries a snapshot, it's blocked away, but Hibs starting on the front foot, trying to put the home side under significant pressure early on, and they've got an early throw in on the right hand side, taken into the feet of Josh Mulligan. Interesting to see how he adapts to life at Hibernian. Certainly a very promising player coming through at Dundee, highly impressive and plenty of energy, as David Gray was talking about pre-match. Hibs come forward once more, long ball, it's headed away by the captain Beck, but Hibs pick up once more. It's been a promising opening few seconds for the visitors. Don't look overawed by the occasion by any stretch of the imagination. It's out on the right hand side to Chris Cadden. Time to measure across here, and it's swung, it's just over Boyle. It's not entirely cleared eventually. It's the fullback Mbabu who gets it clear, but Scott Allen, that opening minute, highly impressive stuff from Hibernian.
Yeah, fantastic start from Hibs. I think you touched on it at the start. The two times the ball dropped in the middle of the field, a Hibs player was the first to it, and that obviously sprung the attack, and then the ball works its way to Chris Cadden. Fantastic ball. I did say about the cross balls, they didn't look like they could handle them well at the weekend, and Martin Boyle, maybe if he was a couple inches taller, he nods that in the far post, but a great start for Hibs.
Jack Iredale on the left-hand side, then with a long throw in into the penalty area. Midtjylland get first contact on it and try and get the ball forward, but Hibs have won it back again. A good area. It's Martin Boyle again going for goal. That took a deflection on its way wide off Mads Beck, and it's going to be another opportunity here for Hibs from the corner kick on the right-hand side. And Joel, it's exactly the way David Gray would have wanted his side to start the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Playing on the front foot from the first whistle, the first few moments the ball's been played in Midtjylland's half. I don't think they've had a chance to play one or two passes. So yeah, the start that certainly Dave and the staff would have wished for.
So the corner kick from the right-hand side as Hibs look to take an early advantage. It's played in towards the back post. Hibs player closest to it goes down, claiming that he was obstructed there. Referee not seeing too much in it, and Midtjylland at last managed to get the ball into the Hibs half, but they've not got possession for very long as it's played forward once more down the left-hand side. Hibs looking to cause further threats here. Again, it's Midtjylland having to do the defending as it's lofted into the penalty. It's a good ball, and it's a big chance for Martin Boyle, who heads a couple of yards wide when he really should have been testing the goalkeeper. First real opportunity for Hibs in 3 minutes, but it's still Midtjylland 0, Hibs 0.
Fantastic, Martin Boyle. I think he's got to hit the target. Again, it's that ball into the box. Midtjylland just don't deal with it. All starts from that run from Boyle down the outside of the full-back. Comes back across, a fantastic ball in. Martin Boyle's got to do better there. He's got to make the goalkeeper work.
Well, positive signs for Hibs certainly in the shape of the opening, Joel, but you might not get all that many chances quite as clear-cut as that over the course of a game like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the way we started has been fantastic, but like you said, I think when Midtjylland get their foot on the ball and grow into the game, those chances might be few and far between. So it's at moments like that you really need to be a little bit more clinical, and like Scott said, bare minimum needs to be target. Yeah,
I have to be totally open with you here. We are at the mercy of the pictures coming into the building, and they're rather stuttery. They're coming and going, as you'll have heard there. We lost the sound momentarily. We are back in vision here, so we'll do our best to describe the action as we see it in front of us, but it's not entirely reliable, let's say, just at the moment, but we'll do our best to keep you right up to date as Hibs get the ball in the penalty area once more. It's Kieran Bowie trying to make the most of it, but can't quite hold on to possession. But Midtjylland look nervy in these opening stages. They're giving the ball away very cheaply, but they've managed to gain possession as it's Kevin Mbabu, once of Rangers, on loan from Newcastle back in 2015. He didn't make an appearance at that time for the Ibrox side, but he's gone on to have a really impressive career.
Young Boys, did they end up at Young Boys?
Yeah, he was at Young Boys after Newcastle, and he's gone on to play for a number of top clubs. Wolfsburg, he went there for €9 million before moving to Fulham, and now finds himself a Swiss international here and playing the ball forward down the right channel. That's going to all the way through to Jordan Smith in the Hibs goal. We've played just over 5 minutes here, and it's Midtjylland 0, Hibernian 0, and certainly the visitors looking the more likely side in these opening exchanges.
Yeah, Hibs have been fantastic out of possession so far in the game. You can tell they've worked on it. They're looking to force, obviously, Midtjylland into the bodies, the middle of the park, obviously having that overload with the 3 versus the 2 in the centre area of the park, and they've managed to obviously be aggressive with that press and nick the ball 3 or 4 times already and spring on the counter-attack. So a very positive start for Hibs.
Jamie McGrath has won Hibs a free kick in a really promising position out on the left-hand side, pretty much in line with the penalty area. It was Han Byum Lee who was the culprit there in terms of giving a rather cheap free kick away, and this is another decent chance. It's only really about 10 yards actually away from the goal line, a couple of yards in from the left touch line, and an opportunity then for Hibs to put the ball into the box and put that Midtjylland back line under further pressure. Jack Iredale among those, lending his height and threat in that penalty area as McGrath has picked himself up and will deliver the free kick, it looks like, from the left-hand side. The right foot will beat us there as well, but it will be McGrath to cut it into the 6-yard box. Hibs claim it across the line, and the referee says yes, it did. And McGrath, within 6 minutes of his Hibs debut, has put his side in front, direct from the free kick. The goalkeeper completely caught out. He was assuming the ball was going to come into the middle, and when it did, it went straight into the goal. Lossell, the goalkeeper, desperately trying to claw it away, but the referee deems it to have crossed the line. It is Midtjylland 0, Hibs 1.
Yeah, unbelievable there from Jamie McGrath. Really intelligent stuff. Spotted the goalkeeper, almost cheating. Gets his first club goal against Essen. Gets his second club goal here tonight this evening. What a fantastic start from Hibs.
And no more than they deserve. What a start to the game they've had. They've been a real threat. They cross balls, as we spoke about at the top of the show, are going to cause all sorts of problems, and Hibs have capitalised on that. Fantastic effort for Jamie McGrath. I don't know what the goalkeeper is doing, to be honest. Looks like he's gambled. Obviously, to come out and catch that ball in the 6-yard box, but Jamie McGrath, clever, reverses it, and Hibs, a goal to the good and well deserved demise.
Yeah, well, Jonas Lossell, the Danish goalkeeper, he was badly at fault for the opening goal at the weekend that Odense scored against him, and he's really been caught out there. As the guys are saying, he's looking like he's gambling that the ball's coming in around his 6-yard area and poised to come out for it, and Jamie McGrath has completely fooled him. He's gone straight for goal from a difficult angle out on the left-hand side, and he hasn't been able to recover in time to keep it out. The officials deciding that it had crossed the line. We have got VAR in action here, so they will have double-checked that, and the game is back underway. And Hibs, after just 8 minutes here out in Denmark, have the lead here. And Joel, as Scott says, it's thoroughly deserved the way they've started the game.
Yeah, absolutely is. Almost all of the first 8 minutes here have been played in the Midtjylland half. We've had numerous box entries. We've played on the front foot. We've played with real intense attacking nature, and thoroughly deserved from a Hibs perspective.
I think you can't not look at how aggressive Hibs have been out of possession and really gambling, getting in man-to-man in the middle of the park and putting Midtjylland under some real pressure. They probably wouldn't have expected that. I didn't quite know how the start to the game would be. Obviously Hibs not having a competitive game yet, but in terms of tactically, David Gray so far has got this absolutely spot on.
Well, I said they were looking to pick up where they left off at the end of last season, and boy have they done that. Very much the Hibs side that we saw from December onwards, this, as they have taken the game to their perhaps more illustrious opponents, certainly in European terms in recent years. But it's Hibs who look like the more settled side, the more experienced side. And you can see Thomas Berg at the touchline there, the Midtjylland manager. He's furious with the way his side have begun the game. 9.5 minutes in, and they trail by a goal to nil. And it's Jamie McGrath, his Hibernian competitive debut, who has got the goal, and we know he's capable from these set-piece situations, and he certainly showed it there. The intelligence to realise that the goalkeeper was going to, have his thoughts on a cross coming in, and McGrath gave him the eyes and got the opening goal, and that's how things stand 10 minutes in as Midtjylland try and come forward. It's Lee out to the right-hand side. Now it's Babu back into Lee, playing at right centre-back, and now it's his captain, Mads Bech, who plays it back out to the right-hand side, looking for Mbabu, who's now in an advanced area. Jordan Obita facing him up, about 20 yards from the Hibs goal. It's a good ball into the penalty area. Tried to flash it across goal there, but Hibs managed to get a block in, and then they work it clear. It was Pedro Bravo looking to apply the pressure there, as Mbabu will take the throw-in now for Midtjylland. They look to begin to edge their way into the game. I'm not sure if they've been caught cold by the way Hibs have started this, but they've looked really poor in these opening stages. But Hibs will know they've got a lot of work to do here as Mbabu's long throw-in comes in. It's not behind by a Hibs head. There's claims of a push in there, but the referee has signalled for the corner kick out on the far side, the Midtjylland right. It was Bowie in the end who got his head to it. I think if a push came in, it was probably from Obita on his own player. So it will be the corner kick now to be taken by Osorio, the Chilean 21-year-old. He's a right winger, but he's very much left-footed, and he'll swing this one in as Buxa gets a talking to from the referee. He's trying to get very close to Jordan Smith in the Hibs goal and put him under pressure here. 11.5 minutes in as Midtjylland threatened for the first time. It's a poor corner, well dealt with by Cadden, I think it was, at the near post, and Hibs looked to clear the lines. Boyle tried to play it off. The Midtjylland player out there on the far side, he's just knocked it straight out, so it will be another Midtjylland throw-in and an opportunity for Babu once more to launch the long throw-in in. 12 minutes almost on the clock. Midtjylland 0, Hibs 1 out in Denmark, as the home side look for an equaliser here in these early stages, and Babu lining up the long throw-in then. Plenty of bodies forward for the home side as they try to grab a leveller, and it comes from Babu, but Jordan Smith comes off his line, grabs that confidently under no pressure, 6 yards out, and a good confident take from the keeper, who will come under pressure, you'd imagine, with the new signing of Raphael Salinger. But David Gray keeping faith with Jordan Smith, who by and large did himself no harm whatsoever when he came into the team to take over from Bursic last season.
Yeah, absolutely, and Jordan retains his number one spot, and quite rightly so. He had a tremendous season when he was called upon, and I think seeing Rafa and training, he's a big guy. He's got a fantastic stature about him, but he, like Jordan did in the first half of the season, will most likely have to bide his time.
Babu releases Osorio down the right hand side, just opening up a little bit for Midtjylland there, but it's good covering back, I think, by Iredale, who got the block in to prevent Osorio's ball coming into the box. But Hibs looked just a little bit open down that right flank of Midtjylland's just for a moment there, Scott.
Yeah, Rocky Bashiri's obviously trying to play the offside trap, but it was definitely on for me. I think that's the key moments where on that transition Hibs have got to recover. They've got to get bodies back and make it hard for them, and they did so in the end. They managed to get a block on it as the ball comes in.
Yeah, Hibs have dealt with that, but it is at the expense of another corner, and you just sense that the home side are beginning to creep into the game and looking to put that Hibs backline under a bit of pressure. The good thing for Hibs and David Gray is it is a very settled back three, or even back five if you include the wing backs. They're very used to playing with each other, so hopefully the connections there will be good. But they've got another corner to defend here from Osorio. Sends this one to the back post. They managed to pick out Sorensen at the back. He was completely on his own, but his header was a poor one, and it allows Bowie to pick up, and then he was fouled as he tried to bring the ball forward. And Hibs get the free kick deep in their own territory, and they managed to relieve the little bit of pressure that Midtjylland had begun to build up in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, I love that from Bowie there. Knows that he doesn't have an out ball, manages to buy a free kick there off the referee and allow Hibs to get back on the ball and get a bit of composure about them. They have had to defend some cross balls over the last few minutes. I think Joel will tell you that when Smith comes out and collects right in the middle of the box. There's nothing better as a player when you can turn around your goalkeeper, come out commanding and takes the pressure off you. But listen, there's going to be moments in this game where Hibs are going to have to defend for spells. There's no question of that. But this, as you say, this is a real settled Hibs back three. Include the goalkeeper in that as well, and the two wing backs.
It's a goal kick now for Midtjylland, quickly taken. Quarter of an hour gone now out in Denmark, and it's Midtjylland 0, Hibs 1. A wonderful start to this game from the Easter Road side, and we talked about pre-match what Hibs would settle for, whether it would be a draw, a narrow defeat, just to ensure they're kept in the tie. I wonder if people's evaluations of how this might go have changed in these opening stages. Certainly it's gone virtually as well as any Hibs fan could have hoped for.
Yeah, absolutely. I can only imagine the scenes in that away end before kick-off. A fantastically strong travelling support. So when that goal went in, the scenes would have been immense. But yeah, I think now that we've seen how Hibs have started the game, Midtjylland looked a little bit shell-shocked. They seem to be growing into the game now, but I think what's most important for us is retaining our composure, sticking to our playing style and our ethos, and really, really going for it.
Talk about a settled team. This is a pretty settled Midtjylland side as well. All of these players starting the game were at the club last season, and so they'll all be pretty familiar with each other as they come forward looking to create something. Again, Hibs managed to get the block in to prevent them really creating. It was Shimshir the Turk coming in from the left hand side who couldn't find a way through, but they will begin to build again from the back with Lee, who is, Liam pointed out pre-match, they are missing Diao, who's very much their first choice right centre-back. Lee pretty much a stand-in for him, and I don't think he's quite the player that Diao is. He was also at fault for one of the goals against Lawrence at the weekend, albeit he was involved in helping them pull it back to 2-1 as well, the assist for Francolino's first goal. Here's Babu just back to Lee, just inside the Hibs half. Hibs get everyone behind the ball now, just looking to soak up a little bit of pressure here as Shimshir, the Turk, picks up once more. Sorensen now inside the penalty area, opportunity for the Polish striker Baksu, but he couldn't make anything of it, and Hibs managed to clear their lines. But certainly signs that the home side are beginning to get to grips with the challenge that Hibs pose, and also to impose themselves on the game in an attacking sense, as Sorensen picks up once more and plays into the middle of the park for Bravo out to the left hand side. Forward has come Victor back from left back. The Midtjylland passing is beginning to look a bit smoother. There's a foul there by Josh Mulligan, a pretty crude challenge there on Shimshir. The referee's keeping his cards in his pockets certainly, but if there's any question, a scissors challenge like that is going to be penalised, certainly in European football, and a free kick for Hibs to defend, as we see a little rerun of the chance there a moment ago for Buxa, but Jack Iredale doing enough to get himself across and thwart the danger. But they have got a free kick to contend with here. It's about 30 yards from goal, just left of centre. You've got Shimshir over it. It's going to be him with the right foot, clip it into the area. It's headed goalwards, but onto the roof of the net in the end. It was the Polish striker once more, Buxa, who was up to meet it with the head, but he just couldn't get the angle correct, and it looped over the crossbar onto the roof of the net, and it remains Midtjylland 0, Hibernian 1.
Yeah, Midtjylland starting to get a foothold in the game now. I feel like Hibs presses a yard, 2 yards off it now. I think naturally when you go a goal up away from home, you start to look to protect. Hibs need to stay aggressive. That's what gave them the good start in the process, so you don't want to drop off far too early in the game. You put these guys under pressure, force them. Hibs were dictating where they were passing the ball earlier in the game, and that was allowing so much joy down the sides of them when they did then turn over the ball. The last 5-6 minutes, Midtjylland definitely have a foothold in the game, look really slick round the edge of the box.
Yeah, they've begun to dominate, but Hibs in charge in terms of the scoreline. 19 minutes in, they have a 1-goal advantage. Jamie McGrath with the opener from a free kick after just 7 minutes, fooling the goalkeeper and grabbing that what could be a very, very precious 1-goal lead as things stand. Still a long way to go, not only this evening but in the tie. We'll bring you second leg coverage as well. Of course, we'll have the first leg of Dundee United this evening as well. We'll have updates from that until this one's finished. It's a 7:45 kick-off at Tannadice. Thomas Duncan and Michael Stewart there for us this evening, and we'll bring you the team news at half-time. 25 minutes until then, as Osorio picks up left-hand side. Cadden working well to win it back and then poke it up towards Bowie, who again does well. Great hold-up play and winning the free kick, and it's vital that Kieran Bowie, he's not a massively experienced striker, Scott, but he's got a job to do there as that man who needs to get Hibs up the park as much as possible. Yeah,
I can't stress you how important it is having a striker when you do obviously nick the ball back off the opposition when it goes into him. He either holds it up or buys you a foul. He's done that twice now, and it just relieves the pressure. It's so important, especially at this level of competition. I think you can see Hibs out of possession when they don't have the ball. They kind of get naturally dropped back into a 5. You've got your 3 in midfield who are really flat. They're getting asked to do a lot of work side to side, and that's what's going to have to be done in this type of game to come away with a result. But when they do have the ball, they need to use it well.
There's a beat out left-hand side, midway inside the Midtjylland half. He gets it back and then rolls it back to Iredale, who was hugely impressive, I thought, when he came into the side last season. One of the changes, actually, I think you mentioned it pre-match, Scott, they changed the shape, and when they went to the back 3, bringing Iredale in, it made a massive difference. And Iredale, well, clearly with the winning goal in the derby against Hearts, endeared them
Goal of the season.
Yeah, so it was. Yeah, it was certainly voted that.
Wasn't me picked that, by the way.
I'm not sure it was everyone's choice, but certainly a very important goal, and one, as I say, that endeared him to the Hibs faithful. It's back in Midtjylland possession as Beck picks up just on the halfway line. The left centre-back and captain tries to fire it out to the right-hand side to Mbabu, knocks it in on the volley. First time Bashiri's there first to clear his lines. Headed back by Lee out to the right-hand side, looking for Mbabu. He can't bring it under control, and Hibs managed to just clear it forward, and Beck turns it back to his goalkeeper, Jonas Lossel, who has been caught out for the opening goal by Hibs, by Jamie McGrath in particular this evening. He'll look to try and make amends. Conceded 3 at the weekend, and they didn't look all that clever, as Scott has been talking about, but certainly they offer a threat coming forward, and they're looking to show that right now. Is Francolino, who hasn't really managed to get into the game, and he's actually fouled his man. Mulligan perhaps, who went down there. Difficult to see initially, but anyway, Francolino just losing control of the ball. It was Mulligan who went down, wins his side the free kick on the edge of his own penalty area, and again it just allows Hibs to move up the park and alleviate a little bit of pressure. We've played about quarter of the game so far. Hibs with the 1 goal advantage. Jamie McGrath with the only goal of the game on his debut for Hibernian, having made the move in the summer on a free transfer from Aberdeen. And you have to say, Joel, that looks a terrific bit of business to get a player of his quality for no outlay.
Yeah, he's been an impressive signing. I think it was a shock to everyone when the club announced it, and when they announced it. But what a fantastic player, a player that the club have been after for a number of seasons. So it's fantastic that we managed to get the deal done and get him in that engine room, the centre of the pitch. And I think his attributes, along with Dylan Levitt's and Josh Mulligan, will certainly complement each other. Yeah,
and there's Mulligan winning the ball back for Hibs, just as we've seen him do so often for Dundee down that right hand side. Midtjylland being slacking, defensive, giving it to Bowie, shots blocked from about 8 yards. That was a chance, half a chance, but Beck managed to get close enough that he couldn't really allow Bowie a clear shot at goal, and Midtjylland survived that. But again, it's slackness at the back that's almost presenting Hibs with the opportunity, and it could so easily have been 2-0 after 24 minutes. As it is, it remains 1-0, but that definitely goes down for Bowie as half a chance, Scott.
Yeah, it was as if he was surprised that the ball landed on him. Obviously Martin Boyle looked to capitalise on the loose pass from Midtjylland. It falls to Bowie. Can he just shift it, look to find that far corner? But to me it looked like he was surprised that the ball landed at him. But really positive from Hibs again.
Yeah, and it was Levitt. Well, he had a real opportunity there to pick out a man, and just delayed slightly as we see a rerun of the Bowie chance. Could he have done any more there, Joel?
Yeah, I think it's a difficult one. Like Scott said, he probably didn't think it was going to fall to him in that moment, but I think Scott's touched on a number of times, there's no denying going forward, Midtjylland are extremely impressive. They have a nice fluidity, a nice flow to them, but certainly in their own defensive third there is a vulnerability about them, and hopefully we can continue to exploit that.
And it comes from back into the Hibs penalty area. Bakshu can't make anything of it. It's come out to the right hand side though to Mbabu. He rolls it back to Lee midway inside the Hibs half. He in turn plays it back to Mads Beck, who's allowed to advance midway inside Hibs territory out to Shemshir on the left hand side. He dinks it into the area. It's just too far advanced of his forward players, and it goes all the way through, thankfully, to Jordan Smith from a Hibs perspective, and he gets the ball rolling once more out to Bashiri, and now O'Hara infield to Levitt, quickly passes out. It's a good ball out to Cadden right hand side. He's able to advance, looks for Boyle, who's just slightly rocking on his heels there and couldn't collect it, and that allows Beck to play it back to the goalkeeper Lossel. 1-0 Hibs in, 25.5 minutes in, as Lee picks up just outside his penalty area and plays it to Mbabu, who's been heavily involved coming forward down that right hand side. Back with Lee, and now Beck once more advancing up towards the halfway line, plays it out to the right hand side against a loose pass, and Mbabu will do really well to keep that in. I think he's managed it though, to be fair, and that means Obita's got some trouble to deal with here. He manages to get it clear on his right foot. Fortunately for Hibs, that falls to a teammate of his, And now Bowie will try and gather but fails to do so, and Beck able to turn it back to the goalkeeper just outside his 6-yard box and plays it out to Lee, right hand side. Hibs with the 1-goal advantage. Jamie McGrath with the opening goal. As Midtjylland have certainly come back into things, but while you feel there might well be a goal in this for Midtjylland if they continue to link up as they have done in an attacking sense, you definitely also feel that there could be further goals for Hibs, and the ball has just been knocked out of play because Francolino, the Midtjylland striker, has gone down clutching his right ankle. Not entirely sure what happened to him. It looked to be pretty innocuous, possibly just a roll of the ankle. Maybe did he just get clipped by Bushiri accidentally as he tried to make a run? He's back on his feet. Doesn't look to be too much wrong with him now. And the 21-year-old striker who scored 16 goals for Midtjylland in the campaign just finished, and he's already got a couple this season in that opening game of the season. 27.5 minutes played then, and it's still Midtjylland 0, Hibernian 1. Terrific start to the game by Hibs. Midtjylland certainly edging their way into it, but Hibs, you would still say, good value for that narrow lead that they have. And we're looking to hold on to it and indeed potentially extend it before half-time as Beck gets out to the left-hand side to back. And now it's Şimşir, the left winger. He's Turkish, but he came through the youth academy here at Midtjylland as Lee plays it out to the right-hand side. As Osorio comes back to a deep position to pick up and then plays it forward for Francolino. Gets it back to Osorio, coming in off that right-hand side, left-footed. Tries to angle it forward, looking for Şimşir, who'll stretch and try and keep it in, but on the slide, he only manages to knock it out of play. It's out for a throw-in down near the corner flag as Hibs defend on the right-hand side. And you'd have to say so far, Joel Murray, that Jordan Smith in the Hibs goal hasn't really had much to contend with.
No, he certainly hasn't. Coming to collect a couple of long throws, coming off his line for kind of long through balls, but other than that, Al, not anything that has troubled him up until this point.
Long may that continue as O'Hara takes the throw in, tries to get as much distance as possible down that right wing. Bowie looks to force it further forward. It's picked up in the middle again by Hibs. Boyle can't quite keep a hold of it, and then there was a little bit of a loose challenge in there by O'Hara, I think it was, but it's picked up in any case by Midtjylland at the edge of the Hibs penalty. A good challenge from Dylan Levitt to win it back though, and he combines with Chris Cadden, and it's knocked out of play for a Hibs throw-in. Sorensen believes that came off a Hibs player last, but the referee says otherwise, and Hibs will get the throw-in midway inside their own half, right-hand side, as the Welsh midfielder manages to win that throw-in. Little wry smile perhaps tells you that it did come off him last, but Hibs will take that all day long as Chris Cadden just gets a few instructions from his manager David Gray, who'll be absolutely delighted by the way this opening half hour has gone. I'm sure he would have been positive about his side's chances, but for them to be sitting 1 goal up after a half an hour against the side that only very narrowly missed out on the Danish Championship, again having won it the year before that. It's a real statement of intent, this from Hibernian, who will have it's really just shaping up to be a fantastic Premiership season with Hibs, Hearts and Aberdeen all looking really strong for my money. Dundee United have spent a lot of money pretty much reshaping their squad as well. Rangers and Celtic have been busy in the transfer market, so it's all pretty mouth-watering as the league campaign is almost upon us, but it's very much all about Europe this evening as Hibs continues to lead by a 1-0 just beyond the half-hour mark out in central Jutland. And Beck plays out to the left-hand side to Şimşir, up against Cadden, comes in and finds the ball for Bravo. Bravo up to the edge of the penalty, out to back, left-hand side. Opportunity here perhaps for Midtjylland to test the Hibs defence and perhaps even the goalkeeper once more, as Bravo, the Colombian midfielder, plays it back the way to his captain Beck. He goes square to Lee, just at the edge of the centre circle. Midtjylland staying patient, biding their time, looking to try and create the crossing opportunity. Out goes Sorensen to the right hand side, back to Mbabu. That's a decent looking ball. O'Hara has to keep an eye on it, bounces over his head actually, but Shamshir unable to make anything of it initially, but he has picked up on the left hand side and fires it back into the back post, and Mbabu just unable to climb high enough, and the ball straight out for a goal kick to Hibs. But certainly when Midtjylland come forward, Scott, you can see they are a goal threat and just haven't been able to find that finishing ball as yet, but it remains Midtjylland 0, Hibs 1.
Yeah, they are a goal threat and they do have players in the areas who can go and hurt you, but I think from a Hibs point of view, I think before the game, if you were as a team looked at it and we can restrict them to deep crosses into the box, they're a team who like to come inside, play, work combinations round the edge of the box and get shots away. The Hibs have restricted them to long deep crosses into the box. I think Hibs will be really happy with that aspect of the game.
Yeah, you have to credit David Gray and his coaching and analysis team for doing their homework correctly on this Midtjylland side and realising where the threats lie, how to minimise them, which they've managed to do, as Scott says, with about 13 minutes remaining in the first half. Hibs with a goal advantage and a throw-in out on the left-hand side, pretty much on the halfway line, to be taken by Iredale. Still the sunny bit of the pitch for Iredale as he throws it down the left flank. Hibs pick up once more. It's Obita, about 25 yards from the goal line, right on that left touchline. Goes back the way to Iredale once more. He just tries to dink it down the line. Obita will put pressure on Mbabu, who knocks it out of play. It'll be a Hibs throw-in in a pretty advanced area down that left flank.
Dylan Levitt been absolutely fantastic this game, in and out of possession, trying to dictate the play, went to speed up, went to slow it down, up on second balls. Really good performance so far from him.
Iredale then potentially with a long throw-in from the left-hand side, and it comes to the penalty area. Bashiri trying to make something of it, will break his way left-hand side, lays it back out to Iredale. Iredale ball into the box isn't a great one, it's nodded away at the near post, and Midtjylland might be able to break here down that right flank, and they flood bodies forward. Francolino will get there first as Hibs back pedal. It was Obita who left it to Francolino. Big chances for Francolino, and it's off target, and you really have backed the Guinea-Bissau international to hit the target from where he was, edge of the penalty area. It opened up for him as Obita backed off, but he couldn't test Jordan Smith, and after 34 minutes out of Midtjylland, it's still Midtjylland 0, Hibernian 1.
Obita's got engaged there for me. I think he thought about it, and as soon as he took that back pedal, the chance was on for Francolino, but it actually comes from the fact that Jack Iredale, obviously one of your left centre-backs high up the pitch, at that moment, in terms of the execution, he's just got to hang up, make Midtjylland defend the box. He obviously goes for that lower cross, it's easily defended, and that counter-attack was on. And that just shows you how vulnerable you can be in terms of the wrong decisions in certain areas of the park against opposition like this.
Picked up well by Levick, just couldn't quite find the pass, and then Bowie picks up on the rebound. It's just over the top from about 22 yards from the striker. Worth an effort certainly, but the previous ball through from Levick did really well to pinch possession, and he just couldn't quite thread it through for the run of Martin Boyle. But again, signs that Hibs, as much as they will come under threat, they can pose threats themselves, and there will be opportunities. Just seen a little graphic on the screen here that tells us that Hibs have had 6 shots to Midtjylland's 2, as Midtjylland come forward and have won themselves a corner on the left-hand side. And Warren O'Hara getting his body in the way there as the ball was played across goal, and Hibs with a bit more defending to do here with 10 minutes until the break, and trying to ensure that they at least take that 1-goal advantage in to the dressing rooms at half-time. Corner then from the left-hand side as Jordan Smith looks to organise. Again, it's the tall figure of Buksa, the Polish striker who played both recent games against Scotland, who is close to him as the corner comes in from the left, near post ball. Again, it's well dealt with by Cadden. The deliveries haven't been quite on the money as Shamshir manages to get back to win possession again and knocks it all the way back to his goalkeeper Lossell, who will still be having nightmares about that Jamie McGrath free kick. That's the difference between the sides thus far. Here's Shamshir once more on the left-hand side, the right-footed tuck to the edge of the area, just clips it in there for Sorensen, tries to find a little gap, but Hibs managed to get the ball clear once again. Just beginning to sit a little bit deep perhaps for David Gray's liking, not getting up the park sufficiently when they do get it clear, and inviting further pressure from Midtjylland as Mbabu picks up and tries the big diagonal, looking for Lee, who'd stayed up. He manages to nod it down to Francolino. That was the combination as they got a goal back early against Odense the weekend, but this time Francolino unable to get the ball back across goal. It's just going to be out for, looks like it's been given as a goal kick. I wonder if it should have been a corner off Iredale there, and Francolino certainly claiming he should have had something, but Hibs emerge unscathed from that. Iredale's just taking a little bit of a knock in the challenge there with Francolino.
That was the first time we'd seen Seamshire cut in on his right foot and just play that wee cute ball over the defender's leg. Obviously led to Dylan Levitt being in a great position, obviously, to cover for his defender, but that's what you can tell they're trying to do, suck you out, to find the wee cute passes into the midfield, combinations, get the shots away. But Hibs, to a man, have defended fantastically so far.
8 minutes left in this first period out in Denmark. Hibs with a 1-goal advantage given to them 7 minutes in by Jamie McGrath. Free kick, a debut goal for the Irishman, and Hibs fans will be hoping that's the first of many. Looks a really astute signing. Of course, they've got their new and their record signing Thibaut Clige on the bench. We might see him at some juncture as here come Midtjylland. It's back into the area. Good header cleared by Obita. It was an important one because Midtjylland were piling bodies in at the back post, where Mbabu picks up once more. Scott Allen waving Hibs forward from the studio here. I'm sure David Gray's doing something likewise at the touchline there. But Mbabu picks up once more and goes back to Bravo, and now Lee midway inside the Hibs half, looking for an equaliser before half time. Now it's Francolino, looks to get the 1-2 from Sorensen. It was a little cute back heel from Sorensen, but it was cut out by the Hibs defence, and they just knocked the ball over the halfway line. And it looks like Hibs are keen to get to half time as quickly as possible. The ball just being cleared rather aimlessly just at the moment. Not enough care perhaps being taken as they look to hold on to their advantage and keep Midtjylland at bay. They'll be well chuffed with the way things are going thus far, as Back has it left hand side, plays it into Bravo. The midfielder comes forward, back to Back on the left hand side. Bravo once more at the byline, cuts it back into the middle. It's picked up by Buksa, and now it's Seamshire trying to find a yard of space. Bashiri sticks tight to him, squeezes it out to Mbabu right hand side. He goes back to Lee. Hibs standing firm, still 6 minutes left in the half. Out to the right hand side to Mbabu once more. In comes the cross towards the back post. Back can't reach it, and it's going to come all the way out to this near side for a Hibs throw in. Midtjylland knocking at the door, but still no real threat to Jordan Smith. Touchwood. 5.5 minutes left in the half. Midtjylland 0, Hibs 1.
Yeah, Hibs will be looking to get to half time unscathed. They look like they're collapsing a little bit onto the back line. They're playing in quite a low block out of possession, but like Scott said, when the balls have came into the box, they've defended the box extremely well, especially when Midtjylland are committing bodies forward in numbers. They're quite happy to commit both full backs forward at the same time, quite comfortable allowing both centre backs in their six to retain a defensive situation.
Martin Boyle, he might well be offside, but he's allowed to continue. He's smashed it past the goalkeeper for a second goal. The flag goes up now, and I think it's a correct decision. Martin Boyle doesn't, he's wagging the finger. I think he was fractionally offside when the ball was played forward. The play was allowed to develop, as of course it always is when VAR is involved, but we'll see hopefully here in the replay. Bowie knocks it forward. Is Boyle just ahead of the last defender? Well, he certainly finished it superbly to potentially give Hibs a 2-goal lead. It will of course be checked. Again, the goalkeeper not doing himself a great deal of justice, but the flag looks to have denied Martin Boyle. What's your take initially, Scott Allen?
Yeah, to me it looked offside, but I think what Hibs can take from it is there is chances there to get at this back line. Martin Boyle obviously goes through, he's at near post, fantastic finishing in my eyes, but I think just the threat that they carry, the confidence that Hibs will take from this, knowing if they get the pass right, they have chances here against this side. They could get 2 or 3 goals tonight if they defend well and they counter-attack well, because there's definitely a lot of, in terms of that Midtjylland defence, there's a lot of vulnerability there.
Well, VAR still checking this. It's Soren Starks who's the man in Scott Allen's looking at me as if to say it could be tighter than we initially thought. Joel, what was your own feeling? We're back underweight, so it has been ruled out, and it's Midtjylland coming forward. But there certainly wasn't a lot in it, as Scott says. The positive aspect of that is, there's more chances in this for Hibs.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see Midtjylland in those transitional moments don't look comfortable at all, committing lots of players forward, but on those transitional moments on the counter, they look very, very uncomfortable. And I think what you can also take from that is the keeper doesn't look comfortable at all.
Yeah, he's not covered himself in glory. He was second choice actually for most of last season to Elias Olafsson, the Icelandic international who was part of that Iceland team that came to Hampden last month and emerged with a 3-1 victory, but he lost his place towards the end of the season and remains on the bench for the moment. But I wonder if the mistakes continue from Jonas Lossel, whether he will soon find himself replaced once more. But we've got about 3 minutes left in this first half. Hibs lead by a goal to nil. They almost had a second there, but Martin Boyle denied his 100th Hibs goal by the assistant's flag, and that was verified by the VAR. As Hibs try and play out from the back here, it's Jordan Smith who gets the ball back and then just launches that one long, not want to take any chances in the closing minutes of this first period.
Real crucial few minutes coming here for Hibs. They have to see it to half time. Don't concede.
They've got themselves a throw-in over on the far side, and they just want to keep possession as much as possible. Here it was came off Osorio last as Iredale tried to clear. So yeah, as Scott said, a couple of minutes left, plus any added on time. Don't be too much of that. No, we had that stoppage there for the VAR check, so maybe a minute or so. But Jordan Smith launches, actually it was a free kick that was awarded for that challenge by Osorio on Iredale, but Smith knocks it long and it comes off Bowie and it's out for a throw-in over on the far side, deep in Midtjylland territory, to be taken by the Swiss international Mbabu, now 30 years old. He knocks it back to his goalkeeper Lossel. He plays it out to Beck, and now Lee as Midtjylland come forward looking for an equaliser ahead of half time. Babu now looking for Sorensen, quickly into the challenge there was Iredale to knock it out of play. He's continued his good form from last season at the start of this one. It's picked up by Francolino, who's dropped very deep, plays it infield to Bravo. Bravo comes across to the left hand side and plays it to Shimshir. In off the left he comes, trying to free himself of the clutches of Cadden. Back into Bravo, out to the right hand side now. Midtjylland looking for a space to get a cross in here. Zimbabwe picks up and plays it back into Bravo, but midway inside the Hibs half. About 30 seconds remaining of the initial 45 as Back picks up left hand side up against Cadden. Into the feet now of Osorio, and here's Bravo. He just nudges it back to Lee. Hibs standing firm. Lee's going to go for a goal, and he can do that all day long because from 35 yards he's blasted that miles off target, and that is music to the ears, if you like, of the Hibs players and fans, because that was so wasteful. I mean, so ambitious to try your luck from there, but I guess that just tells you about the frustration of this Midtjylland side as we see that there are 2 minutes added on, which we are just ticking into now.
It all comes from how comfortably Hibs have actually been out of possession. They've been moved side to side on several occasions in this game, and they've dealt with it really well. Your midfielders are tracking the runners who are trying to stretch it to find some space to play in, and that's why they're then limiting Midtjylland to the deep crosses we spoke about, and now obviously the shots from 25-30 yards out. David Gray will be absolutely delighted with how they've been in terms of without the ball tonight. Fantastic so far.
Martin Boyle just managing to keep the ball in play, forcing Midtjylland into a little bit more defending. It's hammered forward by Beck. O'Hara gets his head to it. Mulligan tries to help it on. It breaks back to Lee, the Korean defender. Plays it into the feet of Pedro Bravo. The Colombian gets turned and makes his way into the Hibs half. Crucial that Hibs hold out now for the last minute and a bit, but they could be under pressure here as Sorensen picks up left hand side of the penalty, gets it in, cuts it back, but it's evaded a couple of players, and in fact the assistant's flag has gone up for an offside against Sorensen in any case. But once again Midtjylland get into decent positions but not making enough of it. I'm not sure if that ended up in a goal. That would have been a very tight decision, because I'm not sure Sorensen actually was offside. As it was, he couldn't pick out Francolino or indeed Buxa in the middle, and the chance is gone. The offside flag went up, and with about 30 seconds of injury time left to play, still Midtjylland 0, Hibs 1. Jordan Smith launches it long lane, the free kick into Midtjylland territory, won by Lee, nodded down for Mbabu. Last chance surely of the half if Midtjylland can create something here. Back in field it goes to Bravo. He's seen plenty of the ball in the midfield, but his culture a midfielder as he is, he hasn't really been able to create thus far. Francolino though plays it back into him. He just lets it roll now for Osorio out to left hand side to back, feeds it in to Hora, who gets the ball clear on that occasion. Bowie contests it, Sorensen though, and then Beck wins it for Midtjylland. We're beyond the 2 minutes. Hibs fans want the half-time whistle. Hibs get the ball clear, and indeed there goes the referee's half-time whistle, and it's been a tremendous opening 45 for Hibernian. The first 45 of the season, and Jamie McGrath with a 7th minute free kick, catching out Jonas Lossell in the Midtjylland goal, who had anticipated a cross coming in. Instead, McGrath went for goal, and he managed to find it. Lossell unable to scramble it off the line in time. And although Midtjylland have slowly come into the game, haven't really created much for Hibs to be too concerned about. Hibs have defended well when they've had to, and so the half-time scorelines are a very pleasing one. It's Midtjylland 0, Hibernian 1.
Hibernian in the Europa League qualifiers.
Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
There's no substitute.
3, 2, 1, hit it.
BBC iPlayer is your pit stop for everything Top Gear.
Oh, yeah.
For the challenges.
This bit's a bit tricky, boys. Seriously tricky.
You've cheated. Well, technically, we both cheated. I just cheated better than you.
The epic adventures.
This is the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done.
And...
Mate, it's quite a lot of water. It's up to...
Oh, not again.
Hammond, you idiot!
Top Gear. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
You are listening to Sports Sound here on BBC Radio Scotland. Extra 810 medium wave on digital and online at bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland with Liam McLeod. Just brought you first half commentary of the match in the Europa League second qualifying round, the first leg, and it is a very nice scoreline. Hibs leading Midtjylland by 1-0 thanks to that Jamie McGrath goal on 7 minutes. Typical Jamie McGrath. We've seen it so often in Scottish football. Such a clever player, and 7 minutes into his Hibernian debut, and he has given them a precious lead in Denmark as they try and get through to the next stage of qualifying. It's a long old road, and of course this coming off the back of Rangers picking up their victory over Panathinaikos in Champions League qualifying on Tuesday. And we're hoping Dundee United, when they host the Luxembourg side Strassen, will be able to get the victory that I think we are all expecting, and therefore it will have been a good week for Scottish clubs in Europe and indeed the coefficient. Plenty of time to go into the coefficient and the ills that Scottish football's going through at the moment. We need as many points as we can possibly muster from these games. Anyway, we'll get some reaction from Scott Allen and Joel Murray on that first half from Hibs. Give them a little break just now. Let's cross to Tannadice for the team news there. Dundee United against Strassen, as I say, in the second qualifying round of the Conference League. Michael Stewart will be doing the commentary alongside Thomas Duncan. Thomas.
Yeah, good evening, Liam. From a Tannadice that is just starting to fill up at over 10,000 expected here. Feels like a big occasion for Dundee United, and they get to enjoy the fruits of their labour last season when, of course, they were fantastic in finishing fourth on their top flight return. But since then, 16 players have gone out the door, 11 new faces in, 9 of them have come from abroad, and 7 of them start tonight. So it's a completely new look Dundee United's line-up. 7 new signings, as I say, making their debut from the start this evening, including new goalkeeper and a new back three. So in goals, Yevgeny Kucherenko, the Ukrainian 25-year-old, he's in between the sticks. In front of him, Bert Esselink, Yuri Jovu and Christian Kerestej, the new look back three for Dundee United. We think it will be in terms of that shape but it's about new partnerships in that area of the field. Two more familiar faces on the flanks though, Ryan Strain at right wing back and Will Ferry on the left flank, and he of course is captaining Dundee United this evening and named vice captain just this week. And Ross Graham, of course, club captain, but he is out until the end of October. He's had hamstring surgery yesterday, so he's going to miss the first few months of the season, which is a blow. But Will Ferry had a terrific first season here at Tannadice and steps in to that leadership role. He's on the left flank. In midfield, it's Isaac Papo, the Ghanaian 21-year-old on loan from Ferencváros in Hungary. He's alongside Vichko Chevet in the heart of the United midfield, and then it's two kind of wingers / number 10s either side of a striker up front. Ivan Dolcek, the 25-year-old Croatian on loan from Dunajska Strada in Slovakia. Dundee United do have an option to buy. He's got good pedigree, having played at Hajduk Split in his homeland, so he's on one side. Christian Trapanovski on the other side. And Zach Sapsford, the striker from Australia, signed from Western Sydney Wanderers, he is up front for Dundee United tonight. So many new faces looking to make an impression. The Dundee United bench, the youngsters Scott Constable and Sam Cleal-Harding, Max Waters, the Barnsley loanee striker Owen Sturton, another youngster along with Lewis O'Donnell, and Dave Richards and Rory Adams, the goalkeepers. Panucci Camara, another of the new signings, a midfielder formerly of Crawley, Craig Sibbald, and then young Miller Thompson as well in there. As for Una Strassen, this is only their second ever European tie. They lost 5-0 on aggregate to the Finnish side Coups, and that was, a real blow for them. But they come in a later round this year, one later round in the Conference League, due to their second place finish in the Luxembourg top flight, their highest ever finish in 103 years of their history. So a really big occasion for them, and their players were out early here at Tannadice soaking it all up, taking pictures, and they are very much the underdogs here this evening. Nearly all their players are from Luxembourg and plays most of their careers here, and I think they will match up United in terms of shapes. They go with Corey Ozcan, the Frenchman, in goals, a back three of Ricardo Delgado, the captain Denis Agovic, whose twin brother Edis is playing in midfield in number 10, and they're kind of key man in the middle of the pitch. Tim Hall is the other centre back, Eric Brandenberger and Daryl Meyer on the flanks, Vova, the Cape Verdean, in midfield alongside Diego Pimentel and Edis Agovic, and then up front two strikers, Mateus de Souza, who was the top scorer last term in the Luxembourg top flight with 23 goals. He had 27 and 36 in all competitions, so he's their danger man, alongside Zachary Hadji, who is the son of Mustafa Hadji, the Moroccan legend who played against Scotland back in the 1998 World Cup, that infamous game. So that is the Strassen lineup. They are very much the underdogs, Dundee United heavy favourites, but how many times have we said that before in terms of Scottish teams in Europe? It's always so tricky, especially this being so very early in the season. The referee is Mark Nagtegaal of the Netherlands, Liam.
Yeah, indeed. Scottish clubs at times have toiled in matches and ties that you're expecting them to comfortably come through. Indeed, against teams from Luxembourg, they've had problems. Aberdeen struggled past Fola Esch in 2016, and we all know what happened to Rangers against Progress 12 months later. So hopefully Dundee United will be able to produce a comfortable victory that will make next week's second leg slightly more comfortable than Aberdeen and Rangers had against those two sides from Luxembourg. Michael Stewart will be doing the commentary alongside Thomas. Michael, that's all change for Dundee United, is it not?
Yeah, it's certainly a lot of change, isn't it? It's 7 by my calculations in the starting lineup that are new, and even the 4 that have been here previously, they joined only just this time last year. Strain, Chevelge, Trapanovski and Ferry all came in, last season. So it's a much changed side for Dundee United since they've come back up from the Championship just over a year ago, and very much so this summer as well. There's a complete new backline. I've got to say there's a fair bit of height in it as well there. They're Giants, lands of the Giants at the back for Dundee United, and be interested to see how they get on here. Hopefully, as you've just mentioned there, it's a positive result against Strassen, and can get as many of the Scottish teams through into the next round, and potentially getting a good number into the group stages as well.
This is United's first European game since they were hammered by AZ 7-0 in the Netherlands a couple of years ago. This is nowhere near the standard of opponent that they will be up against tonight, and indeed next Thursday. That in the Conference League second qualifying round. Let's hear now from the Dundee United manager Jim Goodwin, who's been chatting with Thomas.
Jim, another new season upon us, and what a way to start. It could be a quite special occasion here tonight at a packed Tannadice.
Yeah, I mean, it's all gearing up for a really exciting evening. A fantastic turnout from our own supporters. I think there's in excess of 11,000 Dundee United fans, so I think it tells you what the supporters feel about the fixture. And from our own perspective, it's been a really good pre-season. It's been a busy transfer window, and a really good opportunity for all the new signings to go and prove to the supporters why we brought them here.
Yeah, you've got 7 of your 11 new signings in the starting lineup tonight. As a manager, especially on the back of a successful season, how difficult is it when you have to rebuild a huge chunk of the squad?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm quite used to it now, to be honest. I mean, I feel like over the last 6 or 7 years in particular, I've had to make big changes to the squad year after year. Obviously, it's not ideal. You would hope, as years go on, if you get a bit of stability at a club, then you can, just add small amounts to it in the summer. But, given the amount of players out of contract, the amount of loan players that we had at the end of last season, we always knew it was going to be a lot of players required. And, it's been a lot of hard work behind the scenes. But I'm really pleased with the business that we've done.
And Will Ferry stepping into captain the side tonight in the absence of Ross Graham, with so many players, with so big a turnover of players that we mentioned. How important is it that guys like Will Ferry kind of set the standard for you tonight?
Yeah, I mean, look, Will has been a huge player for us since arriving at the club last summer. When you think about where we took Will from in the lower leagues of England, playing for Cheltenham Town, to tonight he's going to be leading Dundee United out in the European Cup tie. So it's a fantastic journey that he's been on. We want Will to continue to improve, continue to develop. He's still relatively young, and I believe there's still a lot more to come from Will Ferry. So hopefully we see that throughout the course of the season. With regards to Ross Graham, obviously we're all disappointed with his situation, and he underwent surgery a couple of days ago. It was a success, thankfully. As much as he's not out there with the lads, his presence is certainly felt in the dressing room tonight.
And what are you expecting from Una Strassen? I don't know how easy or otherwise it was to get your hands on some footage, but what kind of challenge will they pose?
Yeah, it was quite difficult and challenging to get footage, but my analyst done a terrific job, and we had lots of games from last season to show to the players. I don't think there's a huge change in that squad from last season to the one I see on the paper tonight. I can't imagine they'll change a great deal tactically either, having that served them so well last season. So there are no easy games as far as we're concerned. You saw in the last round of this competition there was a lot of upsets with so-called smaller teams beating some of the bigger teams, and we certainly don't want that to be the story of the night for us. So the boys are really well prepared, brilliant pre-season, and hopefully all of that hard work now comes into fruition tonight.
Thanks, Jim. Good luck.
Thanks very much.
Jim Goodwin, they're chatting with Thomas ahead of their match against Strassen, which is 14 minutes away, 7:45 kickoff. And this is how it's going to work. We're going to have the second half commentary of Midtjylland 0, Hibs 1, as it stands right now, which is great for Hibs. And we will have, obviously, regular updates from Tannadice throughout the second half. And as soon as the Hibs game is over, we'll switch the commentary to Tannadice. So you won't miss anything. And we will go straight to Dundee United Strassen once things are done in Herning. And Joel Murray, things going superbly well for Hibernian right now. That Jamie McGrath goal, classic McGrath. I remember his free kick against Pauk for Aberdeen in Europe a couple of seasons ago. That was a magnificent, this is a very different free kick, that was a magnificent strike. This was just great ingenuity, wasn't it?
Yeah, sitting here absolutely delighted with myself, to be fair. What a first half from Hibs, and like you said, that strike from Jamie McGrath was 100% football intelligence. He's spotted the goalkeeper's positioning, looking to gamble and almost cheat, and he's just reversed it in at that near post. What a strike that was.
Scott, you'd have been happy with that one, wouldn't you? It's the kind of thing you'd have spotted.
Yeah, I would probably have put the ball in the box though. I didn't really hit many free kicks, but listen, it's just intuition. He's obviously, it's an area of part usually you would probably work something, especially for a European tie, and he's obviously took it upon himself to go and be brave and take the effort. And listen, it's paid off for Hibs, but I think you've got to credit how well organised David Gray and this Hibs side have been in this first half. It's been as good as an away performance I've seen from a Scottish side in terms of out of possession, in possession, outside Rangers and Celtic. It's been absolutely fantastic. But I think the key thing is the next 15 minutes you would fully expect a response from this Midtjylland team, so they're going to have to hold firm the next 15 minutes. If they do throw guys forward, then if they're really cute in possession and they pick the right passes, right decisions, then they'll get chances again.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that missed out on the Danish Super League title by a single point last season. This is a decent side Hibs are up against. To see the Midtjylland players are already back out on the pitch, which maybe tells its own story. 1-0 would be a fabulous result to take back to Edinburgh next week, but you thought it was 2 at one point there. Martin Boyle had the ball in the net. They've made one or two other really good chances, Joel. Every opportunity here for Hibs to go on and add to their lead, isn't there?
Yeah, there absolutely is. We've had a lot of box entries, a lot of that coming, of course, in the first 10-15 minutes. But as you say, that Martin Boyle goal chalked off ever so closely with a VAR decision. But I think there's lots of opportunities down the outside, in behind of that high defensive line that look extremely uncomfortable out of possession.
Right, let's head back to the second half then. Midtjylland 0, Hibernian 1. Well done to Al, incidentally, in that first half. I know how challenging that was. He's been hit with a set of circumstances that is beyond his control. Anyway, let's sit back and enjoy the second half. Can Hibs get the job done and take a positive result back for the second leg next week? Europa League second qualifying round, first leg, second half. Midtjylland 0, Hibs 1. Al?
Thanks, Liam. I think that's the nicest thing you've ever said to me, or about me. We'll see how the second half goes, shall we? Yeah, technical issues beyond our control haven't helped with the commentary, but the positive thing is Hibs have that 1 goal advantage, and we're able to bring you that goal from Jamie McGrath after just 7 minutes, as a team looks like he's coming on for Midtjylland to replace Buxa up front. So you would imagine they could have changed any number of players, particularly at the back, but it's a change up front as the Nigerian comes on. He was pretty much their only summer signing, actually. He's coming from Mafra in the Portuguese second division. I think Midtjylland have some sort of tie-up with Mafra. I noticed that a number of players have been out there on loan and so on, but a team then comes in for the start of the second half to replace Buxa, and Hibs as they were at the start of the game, and that's hardly surprising given the way they performed in that opening period. Let's see what Scott Allen suggests, what the Midtjylland response is like, because you would imagine they will have had an earful from the manager Thomas Berg at half time, but they were certainly pretty unimpressive at the weekend against Odense, coming back to earn a draw in the end, but I know that wasn't the scoreline their fans were hoping for to start the season at home, as they look to win the title back from Copenhagen this season. Here they come forward left hand side, and it's Shimshir with a little step over, trying to get the better here of Cadden, who just stands up. He's not fooled by the roll under the boot, and then Shimshir tries to get the ball into the box, and it's gone straight behind. Further frustration for Midtjylland at the start of the second period, and it remains Midtjylland 0, Hibs 1.
Fantastic defending from Cadden there, doesn't get sucked in. Obviously Shimshir looking for him to make the move. I think it was Martin Boyle, actually.
It is.
Martin Boyle, yeah, fantastic defending, doesn't get sucked into the Shimshir looking to take him on the outside, and then cut back in, get his shot away, manages to force him into the error. These straight passes, I don't like these straight passes into that. See that there we've seen from Bashiri, the straight pass that Midtjylland have been playing into their midfield has been an area where Hibs have pressed them really well and looked to capitalise, obviously with Dylan Levitt 4 or 5 times in that first half, straight on top of him in the middle of the park. So you don't want to see that too early on in the second half from Bashiri, because you're just allowing them to come onto you, and it's a chance you can give the ball away. Yeah,
but to be fair, Hibs got out with that, and then Kieran Bowie won his side another good free kick on the halfway line. Again, it was good hold-up play from the striker, and Kieran Bowie, obviously his season having come to Hibs was disrupted by injury last season, but to me, obviously came on for his Scotland debut in the summer as well, Joel, and I think there's a lot more to come from Kieran Bowie. He looks like a really exciting prospect to me.
Yeah, absolutely. His season didn't go as planned last season, but there's massively high hopes for him this season. He went away with Scotland, obviously. He openly admitted he learned a lot. he was aware that he still needs to grow and develop as a player, and I think that experience with the national team will only be helpful and benefit Hibs this season.
Yep, still only 22, Kieran Bowie, and Hibs have got good options, and it'd be interesting to see. You would imagine Thibaut Clegy, the money they've spent on him, they'll be looking to start him as often as possible. Will he come off the bench for his debut tonight? We shall see over the course of this second 45 as Midtjylland pick up left hand side, and it's Sheem Shear on that left flank, just laying it back, and then played forward for Sorensen to chase, but it's going to go all the way through to Jordan Smith, who didn't have a shot on target to deal with in the first half, and long may that continue. In fact, the Hibs goal was the only shot on target, as far as I can gather, in that first period.
Be interesting to see how David Gray manages his substitutions, whether he makes them early, you can see boys getting tired, or does he just stick? Because to a man, Hibs as a team, as a unit, been fantastic in and out of possession, as we've spoke about.
Just coughed up possession in the middle of the park there, but they managed to deal with that initial danger, albeit Bravo's picked up once more and plays it to Lee, who's able to come forward and then knock it out to the right hand side for Mbabu. Mbabu back in field to Bravo, the Colombian, and now Sorensen, Danish midfielder, into the feet of Francolino. It breaks out to the left hand side, an opportunity there for Sheem Shear to try and get the shot away, but again Hibs quickly closing down back from the left hand side, tries to get it into the area. It's hacked away by O'Hara, out of play over on the far side. You would expect this Hibs defence to come under increasing pressure in the second period as Midtjylland look to get back in the game, but they've dealt with everything that's been thrown at them so far. But they've got a long throw from the Midtjylland captain Beck to deal with here, left hand side, about 15 yards from the corner flag. He'll just hurl this one in towards the near post. It's Bowie who gets his head to it first, back doing the defensive duties for his side. Back out with Beck on the left hand side though, and now Bravo just driving in towards the edge of the penalty. He goes for goal, and it's a good take from Jordan Smith. It was a bit of a daisy cutter, skipping off the surface just in front of Jordan Smith, but he got good hands to everything behind it, held on to it well. Midtjylland 0, Hibs 1, 50 minutes played.
Yeah, it's a good strike from Bravo, but at some point, once he starts driving inside, somebody's got to engage him, try and get a block in that ball. As I said, this will be a response from Midtjylland. They will put Hibs under a bit of pressure, start taking pop shots. Hibs need to get through it.
Good confident take though, and it will give Jordan Smith increased confidence. One of the way he dealt with that, Joel.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Scott said though, I think you need to try and stop that at source.
Beck under pressure there from Martin Boyle, who just manages to get the ball back to his goalkeeper before the speedy Boyle can pounce, and he's still not giving Beck any time to relax on the ball. He has conceded a free kick, but Martin Boyle, he might be advancing in age, but he's still a real threat with his pace at the back, and Midtjylland can't relax for a second. But here they come forward down the left hand side as Sheem Shear puts out to Back, and Back gets the ball into the box, but Francolino just couldn't get there, and Hibs have got the free kick inside their own penalty area for the challenge on Iredale there as he just hacked the ball away. 6 minutes gone in this second period. Hibs still leading by a goal to nil. The goal came 7 minutes in from Jamie McGrath, direct from a free kick, and they've got a free kick inside their own box. We'll cross to Tannadice as soon as that one starts for any major updates from Thomas and Michael before we cross for full commentary once this one's finished, and hopefully United can put on as impressive a performance, albeit you would have to say that we were talking about the settled nature of this Hibs side. It's almost the exact opposite for United, isn't it?
Yeah, it's completely different. I think in terms of, I think 7 changes they've got in the starting lineup tonight.
7 debutants, isn't it?
7 debutants, yeah. And obviously such an important game, but I think it just shows you having that solidity in terms of team selection, back fours and goalkeepers especially. Hibs have put on an absolute masterclass in terms of how to defend their box and get their body and heads in the way of things tonight so far in this game. So it just goes to show you that solidity in terms of team selection, you can produce performances like this.
Midtjylland in possession in midfield. It's Pedro Bravo. We've seen a lot of him on the ball, and he's fed it out to Sheem Shear left hand side. Cadden back pedaling it to the edge of the box. Sheem Shear goes for goal again. It's well off target, hit it from just the edge of the box left hand side, but it was never threatening Jordan Smith, and Hibs' clean sheet remains intact, and the 1-goal advantage remains as well as they look to see this one out. They actually they won 1-0 the last time, and only other time they've been to Denmark on competitive duty. That was after a 1-0 defeat at home to Brøndby, and then they lost on penalties. And I was reminded earlier when I was looking at that, it was John McGinn of all people who missed the only penalty. But hoping for a better outcome then when over the 2 ties here against Midtjylland, and they're certainly doing themselves justice so far, as the referee's just having a word with Dylan Levitt there about time wasting already early in this second period, but clearly Hibs will look to try and kill a few seconds here and there when they can, as they look to take an advantage back to Easter Road next Thursday, as Lee gets his head to the ball before Obita, but it does fall for Obita in an advanced position, turns back inside. He was preferred to Nicky Cadden in that left wing back row as Hibs go for goal once more, and it was Mulligan who struck it from about 25 yards, and it was a good hit, but the goalkeeper got everything behind it and kept it out, as Mulligan threatened to extend Hibs' advantage there. But now it's Midtjylland coming forward down their left flank once more. Francolino was back the way, a little bit of a misjudged pass and miscontrol, but kept in by Shimshir and back in field. But good effort that just a moment or two ago from Mulligan, as there's another bit of miscontrol from Shimshir. It's out for a Hibs throw-in, but Mulligan got hold of that, Joel.
Yeah, certainly did, and it came from really, really nice play down the left-hand side. Very patient play from Jordan Obita. Didn't force it forward, came back inside, found Josh Mulligan, who found himself in a bit of space, and a good effort on target once again.
Yeah, already one debutant on the score sheet. Mulligan looking to add his name to that. His first Hibernian appearance as well, and another, as we were saying about Jamie McGrath. Mulligan available on a free as well, and there was chat that Rangers were trying to take him as well as Lyle Cameron, but Hibs got the business done, and looks to be a really good acquisition. Just 22 years of age and plenty of further potential, and already a good player. So much energy in the middle of the park, and Hibs doing some good business, you'd have to say, so far. Not a massive amount of business thus far, but the 4 players they have brought in all look to be pretty good quality. Anyway, here come Midtjylland left-hand side. 10 minutes into the second period. Still Hibs leading by a Jamie McGrath goal to 0, as Midtjylland look for a leveller. They certainly dominate in possession, as Bravo picks up edge of the box, looking to create a bit of space. It's so limited, but there's Osorio into the box. Hibs managed to get first contact on the header and then not further clear by Cadden, but Midtjylland look like they're beginning to pose more and more of a threat as this second half wears on.
Yeah, and it's fully expected, obviously, being the home side, a team that plays in Europe year in, year out. But Hibs at this moment in time, defending their box fantastically, getting their head on things, getting their foot on things. There's going to be a lot more of that to come. It's how long you can do it for, because questions will be asked.
Here's Osorio, about 25 yards from goal, central area. It's a good pass for back, but a good challenge as well. Was it Levitt that went back there and got the challenge in to ensure the Danish captain couldn't get the shot away?
Yep, stay down.
And yeah, there's going to be a free kick. In fact, it was Bowie again, back inside his own penalty area, who made a really important challenge as Beck tried to. Slightly heavy touch initially from the Danish captain, and that allowed Bowie to step in, and he's putting in a power of work in the opening almost hour of play here. Actually, I thought it was going to be a free kick, but it's been given as a throw-in. I thought Bowie was fouled there. Anyway, and it comes again from Beck from the left-hand side, but it is Bowie who gets the header clear. Picked up by Bravo, good bit of play initially, and then nicked off his toes, though, as Hibs looked to try and counter. The pass just wasn't quite there. Martin Boyle with his head in his hands, because he was free on the right hand side. The ball came left instead, and Midtjylland cut out the danger. But I think we all saw that from our vantage point in the studio. It's easier to spot it from here than it is sometimes in the pitch in the heat of the battle.
Not always out. Martin Boyle's there, and he's usually the loudest one shouting for the ball.
Midtjylland up at the edge of the penalty area, but it's not clear, and then Levitt helps it on, but it'll just come out to this near side to David Gray's technical area. I wonder if he's just talking to Craig Sampson there, and you'd imagine that they are pondering a change or two just to freshen things up. And that's certainly, as you were saying, Scott, it's no reflection on the performance, but given that it's a fairly energy sapping experience out there in the 20+ degree heat in the first competitive game of the season, you would imagine there will be changes sooner rather than later.
Especially when you look at, as you said, the power of work that Kieran Bowie's done, Martin Boyle in that equation as well. David Gray's probably looking at it, right, we're getting that from them turns out of possession, but how do we still be a threat? How do we still have the legs when we do turn over the ball? That's where he'll maybe look at making the change. It just depends on how early he does the change. I think right now Hibs look comfortable out of possession. Maybe give it another 50, or maybe give it till 70 minutes and then see where you think will be needed more on the pitch.
Out for a throw-in over on the far side. Chris Cadden knocking that out of play, and Midtjylland come forward again, and it's Sorensen in the middle of the park trying to escape the clutches of Bowie, who again is back working hard for his team, doing the defensive work. It's Beck playing it square to Lee, just inside the Hibs half. Just over half an hour to play then, out in Denmark. Out to the right hand side to Mbabu. Mbabu faced up by Obita, forced back the way to Lee. Hibs will feel there should be at least one more decent chance in this game for them, probably on the counter-attack the way things are going, as Bravo picks up midway inside the Hibs half. Everyone behind the ball for Hibs at the moment as it's played out to the left hand side for Shimshir. He just nudges it back to the left back. And young Dane into the penalty. It's not entirely clear, and it's curled goalwards there by Bravo, and that didn't look too far wide. Did it take a nick on its way through? Yes, the referee says that might well have been going on target before it took a deflection. Was it Mulligan who managed to get out to just get enough on that touch to take it wide of goal? And it will be a corner. Could have been worse though for Hibs as Bravo looked to test Jordan Smith.
Yeah, absolutely could have been worse. Mulligan with a very poor clearance, but pressed it and then made amends in the end.
And it comes to the Hibs penalty area. They haven't managed to get it clear initially, but eventually Boyle's in there at the edge of the box to sweep it clear, but it picked up once more by Shimshir left hand side. Obita's with him, but he goes back the way, and forward come Midtjylland once more to the edge of the box. It's Sorensen who goes for goal. Again, it's a low effort from just outside the penalty area, and it's well held by Jordan Smith. A couple of similar efforts he's managed to get down to and get everything behind. No spillages whatsoever to give Midtjylland any joy. And after an hour in Denmark, it's still 1-0 Hibs, although they're almost guilty of giving the ball away as they try to play out from the back there, but it's gone behind for another goal kick to Hibs. Half an hour left then, and Hibs with a 1-goal advantage as Bashiri and Francolino go head to head, and the referee's not happy with either of them. He's having a talking to with the pair as they exchange views. But Hibs 1-goal advantage then, still intact. Hibs last managed to make European competition proper back in 05-06, losing 5-1 to Dnipro on that occasion. They've failed in qualifying 6 times since, as both sides look like they're about to make changes. Josh Campbell is the man coming on for Kieran Bowie. That is not an especially surprising change, you would have to say, for Hibs, given the work that has been put in by Kieran Bowie up front. Looks like Midtjylland are making at least a couple of changes here. Mikael Gogorza is one of the players coming on, and so too is Valdemar Biskov. So a double change, I reckon, there from the home side, as they look to at least get a goal back, at least be able to travel to Leith next week, level pegging in the tie. Hibs have got other ideas. Here's Boyle at the edge of the box, tries a little lob. It's a clever enough idea, just didn't quite execute it correctly, Martin Boyle. It sat up quite kindly for him, but he just couldn't get the shot effectively on target, and it just drifts slightly wide. Osorio, in fact, was one of the players who went off there. He is replaced by Mikel Gogorza, as Midtjylland look to build once more. Pedro Bravo, somewhat surprisingly I have to say for me, is the other player to be replaced by Biskov. I thought he'd had a pretty decent game, but that double change has been made, so 3 all told made by Midtjylland, but they trail by a goal to nil with 63 minutes on the clock as Mbabu knocks it into the area. It's not a good pass for Sorensen though, and Hibs pick up through Levitt. Again, he'll try and play out rather than just stump the ball up towards the halfway line. They don't want to just be conceding possession. They managed to win the second ball, and Scott and Joel signalling out to the right hand side. They wanted to pass out to Chris Cadden, but it's been given away by McGrath. It's a poor pass, you'd expect better of him, and Midtjylland come forward now down the right hand side with Mbabu about 15 yards from the goal line, just knocks it back to the substitute Biskov, but his curl ball into the box is well taken by Jordan Smith. But let's go back to that potential counter-attack for Hibs. It could have been really promising for Hibs if McGrath had just been able to get his head up and get the pass off to Cadden.
And that was what I spoke about at half-time, Al. When they do turn over the ball twice, they've had 2 chances in this half. The first one, I think it was Mulligan, chose the wrong option, then again there from McGrath. If he does it quicker, Hibs have a chance to go and counter this Midtjylland team. They were out of position. Hibs had the numbers in their favour to go and create something, and that is so important, especially in these European ties.
64 on the clock then, and Hibs still with a 1-goal advantage. Midtjylland certainly the dominant side in terms of possession as the ball's played into the Hibs box, but again the delivery's not really up to scratch, Joe. You'd have to say that's been a tale of the evening for Midtjylland. They've got into some good positions wide, but the deliveries into the box probably haven't been good enough.
Yeah, we'll take that all day long, Al. I think a combination of poor execution, poor decision making, but also fantastic defending from Hibs. The box coverage, the intelligence in those situations has been fantastic up until this point, so long may it continue.
We're off and running at Tannadice actually, 8 minutes in, still goalless. As I say, we'll cross there if there's anything major to report, but it remains 0-0 in that one in the opening exchanges against Una Strassen, and 1-0 to Hibs out in Midtjylland, which is where our focus lies just at the moment. But Midtjylland pick up possession in a good area at the edge of the box, played to the left hand side into the penalty area, looking for Francolino again. Hibs get a good contact at the near post, and it's up towards Martin Boyle. He just can't quite hold on to it, perhaps tiredness entering into things now for some of these Hibs players. They've worked so hard off the ball to keep Midtjylland at bay for 65 minutes here. Jamie McGrath's goal, the difference between the sides, as Francolino picks up 25 yards from goal. It's a stray pass though, and Hibs have it through Levitt, just turns it back the way, not forward, but it's going to be. McGrath's been penalised for the challenge there. Mbabu almost thought that Mbabu fouled McGrath initially, and that's the point that Jack Iredale I think is making to the referee, but the referee is certainly pointing in the favour of the home side, and so it will be a free kick to them midway inside the Hibs half. Now let's just get another look at that one, Joel. What was your take on it?
Yeah, I think that's a very, very soft one. McGrath wins the ball, Mbabu's coming back, blind side. Yeah, I think it's soft here.
That's inconceivable that that's a Midtjylland free kick. I can't imagine you're going to disagree with me there, Scott.
No, I just think it's the challenges you face when you have referees from obviously different nations across Europe. You see these things year in, year out. Unfortunately for Hibs, they have a set piece to defend.
Yeah, they do that midway inside the second half. It's dinked into the area, the header comes in, it's off target. It was a decent effort from the captain Beck from about 15 yards out. The cross came in and Beck got good contact, but he couldn't find the target, and so happily for Hibs that controversial free kick award comes to nothing, and it remains Midtjylland 0, Hibs 1. Jordan Smith just been booked for, was it Smith? Yeah, I think it's Smith. Bashiri's about to take the goal kick, but I think it's Smith that's been yellow carded for time wasting. Almost 9,000 inside the ground as Midtjylland host Hibernian tonight, and a good contingent. You can see on the screen in front of us, across in the far corner, are made the way mainly from Scotland, although as Brian found pre-match, from further afield as well. One of the Hibs fans coming from Florida to watch his side tonight, and so far I imagine he and the rest of the heavies out there very much enjoying the way the game has gone. We've got about 22 minutes to play. Midtjylland 0, Hibs 1, as the home side look to try and create down the left hand side. It's a good turn by Etim, the half-time substitute, but all he can win for his side is a corner off Bashiri out on the left hand side. And you do feel that the further this game goes, Hibs are going to tire more and more with the amount of running they're having to do off the ball, and perhaps that will eventually tell. Confirmation that Jordan Smith was yellow carded for time wasting, as the corner kick comes in from Shimshir. Bashiri doesn't get contact at the near post. Hibs can't get it clear. Eventually they manage to knock it out of the box, but living somewhat dangerously just at the moment, as Sorensen picks up midway inside the Hibs half, tries to send it back out to the left hand side. Shimshir's still there at the edge of the box on the left, dips the shoulder, comes in on the right. Now he leaves it to Sorensen, edge of the box, clips it in, headed goalwards by Beck, but no real purchase on that header. Easy for Smith to take, and he immediately bowls it long, looks for Boyle to go and test the pace once more of the back line, but on that occasion Back is able to get back quickly enough and deal with that. But it was good quick thinking, and then a slight challenge comes in there from Josh Campbell as he looks to try and get his impact on the game. He just can't quite get a hold of the ball, but Hibs have won it back in a good area. It's good pressing. This could be an opportunity. Go back the way to Levitt. Still the chance might be on here. Right hand side, it's just in front of Josh Campbell, and he couldn't sort his feet out quickly enough to bring it under control inside the box, and the chance is all but gone. Although Hibs pick up once more, right hand side.
It didn't need
now
it
it's
that hard.
Knocked out of play, but again, it's promising stuff when Hibs come forward. They still look a threat, Scott Allen.
Yeah, they do, but just in that final action, there was no need to hit the ball as hard. He just had to roll it so that Josh Campbell come onto it first time, get a shot at goal. Just that extra little bit of care.
Iredale's gone into the book, and he's conceded a free kick because he's taken down the substitute Mikhail Gogorsa just outside the penalty area. We will cross the Tannadice just shortly to get an update from Thomas and Michael, but we'll see this free kick out first because it's a dangerous area. 70 minutes gone. Hibs defending a 1-goal advantage, but this is an opportunity for the Danes to peg them back to 1 apiece. Free kick, what, about 22, 20, no more than 25 certainly yards out, just left of centre, and that's Shimshir that's over the ball just now as he looks to try and test Jordan Smith in the Hibs goal. He's dealt with anything that's been thrown at him so far, and with 20 minutes to play he'll be looking to continue that. Shimshir, the Turk, lines this one up, steps back a few paces. It'll be a right-footed effort. The Hibs wall just inside the penalty area. 3 or 4 Danish players in front of him as Shimshir tries to cut it. It's a beauty, it's an equaliser. It's a real class free kick from the Turkish winger, and he has drawn Midtjylland level with 19 minutes to play. The free kick given away by Iredale in a dangerous position, and Shimshir has made the most of it, curling it over the wall beyond the outstretched Jordan Smith to make it Midtjylland 1, Hibernian 1.
Yeah, a tremendous finish there from Shimshir, but I think for me, looking at how the foul was conceded, Jack Iredale got caught flat-footed, got caught on his heels, and a very unnecessary foul to give away, but take nothing away from that strike. Gets the ball up, gets the ball down, and finds it in the back of the net.
I think if you trace it back though, Joel, it comes from that chance up the opposite end. If you just take care with the pass, Josh Campbell's getting a shot and goal. Instead, obviously wrong execution, they break, you give a foul away, and it leads to no credit. That's a fantastic free kick from Shimshir, and he's been a standout for me in terms of this Midtjylland squad tonight. He looks positive, he's got real quality, and he showed it there, but it comes back from just not taking care in the final moments when you're trying to get shots on target or create chances.
Hibs looking to respond. Here they come down the right hand side. Out it goes once more to Cadden. That pass just goes astray, and Midtjylland will look to try and pick Hibs off once more. It's gone out for a throw, which gives us an opportunity to cross to Tannadice, and here an update from Thomas Duncan and Michael Stewart.
Still goalless here at Tannadice. Sal, Jim Goodwin probably would have wanted a bit of a slicker start from his United side, containing 7 new signings. However, they have had the best chance. Dichko Chevelle chipped through to him in the box. He only had the goalkeeper to beat, fired it hard and low, and the goalkeeper for Una Strassen made a really good save. They have been a bit vulnerable down the far side, United, on their right hand side, and Meyer, the wing back, got in down that side, and the goalkeeper Kucherenko rushed up his line. Fortunately for United, the lobbed finish was poor and drifted wide, but they could have been punished for that. So, not having it all their own way, but they have had the best chance so far. But after 16 minutes, it is Dundee United 0, Una Strassen 0.
Thanks, Thomas. We'll be back with you with any major updates, and certainly back with you permanently after about 20 minutes time, I would imagine. Once you add on stoppage time, we've got about 16 and a half to play of the 90 out in Denmark. Midtjylland 1, Hibs 1, a wonderful curling equaliser from the free kick from Aral Şimşir, the Turkish winger, who has been at the club since his youth days. Scored 7 goals last season, and that's him opened his account for this season in some style, you would have to say. Beautifully judged free kick, giving Jordan Smith pretty much no chance over the wall and in at his right hand post to make it 1 apiece. And you probably have to admit that Midtjylland are probably deserving of an equaliser on the balance of play. They have been knocking at the door without having created a massive amount, but difficult to grudge them, Joel, the equaliser.
Yeah, you absolutely can't grudge them that. I think second half in particular, they've had a lot of the ball. Hibs have suffered a lot without the ball. You can see physically and mentally players are fatiguing, and like you said, you can't begrudge them of that goal. But like Scott said, it came from us being wasteful higher up the pitch. It came from us being flat-footed and potentially diving in, making a challenge out of fatigue. But we need to regroup, refocus and reset for the next 15-20 minutes, Al.
Yeah, it's a team in possession, left-hand side of the penalty area. He goes down, but he's been penalised. He's the man who is guilty of the infringement there on Mulligan, according to the referee, just in the angle of the box. But he's looked relatively lively since coming on team. As I say, the one new signing just stands on the foot there of Mulligan, and gives Hibs the free kick just inside their own penalty area. 1 apiece then, which is absolutely a scoreline you would have taken pre-match, and certainly if that ends up being the result here, it would be one that pretty much any Hibs fan would be satisfied with, you would imagine, as Mbabu has it on the halfway line. Back it goes to Beck, and out to the left-hand side to the goal scorer, Şimşir. Looking to make inroads once more, comes in off that left flank, plays it square now. As Midtjylland look for a way through a well-manned Hibs defence, and Babu now right-hand side, clearing header from inside his 6-yard box by Bashiri. It's picked up once more on the right-hand side by Mbabu. Just under the quarter hour to go, plus added on time. 1 apiece in this Europa League qualifying second round first leg, as Şimşir tries to trick his way through once more. No way through on that occasion, and the counter could be on here as the ball's played forward in the left channel for Boyle. Boyle just holds it up and allows 2 or 3 Hibs players to get forward. It also allows some of the Midtjylland defenders to get back, but here's Mulligan, left-hand side, trying to get away from Mbabu, cuts it back. Chance here for Boyle. Boyle on the left foot, blocked in the end. Just couldn't get it through, and then the offside flag goes up as well to thwart Hibs, and there will be a substitution about to take place here. But again, there look like there could still be chances for Hibs before this game is up to get back in the lead, as well, the goal scorer Şimşir is going to be replaced here for the closing 13 minutes, and I'm sure Hibs won't mind that too much. We're going to see a rerun of his goal once more, but he's going to be replaced by the Ecuadorian Daniel Castillo. But it's actually takes a little bit of a nick. That's the first time I've noticed that in the replay. Just takes a slight nick off a Hibs head in the wall, and that definitely didn't help Jordan Smith as it found its way past him into the back of the net.
It was a chance for Martin Boyle, wasn't it? I thought maybe the chance to get it away a bit earlier. The extra 2 touches trying to get closer to the goals. I think they'll just be ruthless, get the foot through it.
Hibs about to make a couple of changes of their own. Alassane Mane is one of the players who will come on, and looks like Kanayo Megwa, who spent most of the last couple of seasons out on loan in the Championship with Airdrie and then Partick Thistle, but could be a big moment for him. And one more change actually from Hibs is going to see Junior Hoylett come on, so a triple change from David Gray for the last 12 minutes of the regulation 90 plus added on time, of which you would imagine there's going to be easily 5 minutes or thereabouts. But a mixture of youth and experience coming on here with Junior Hoylett and Kanayo Megwa, as well as Alassane Mane, who Hibs fans haven't seen too much of, just 4 appearances. Former Odense player actually, so he'll know all about Midtjylland. He'll come on for Dylan Levitt in the middle of the park. So again, just a freshening up here by David Gray as he looks for legs in the closing stages here to get them over the line. And certainly if they could take this 1-1 scoreline back to Easter Road, they'd be more than happy, as Midtjylland prepared to bring on Adam Gabriel for the last few minutes as well, and what would be their final change. Jamie McGrath is another of the players who's been replaced. Hoylett coming on for him. As Midtjylland pick up, Cadden is the man who has made way for Megwa, so that's a straight swap at effectively right wing back. Megwa, I must say, particularly the season he spent at Airdrie, maybe a little bit less so at Thistle last season, but it does look like a player who can make the step up. Remember Rhys McCabe just saying he could become the best right back in Scotland when he was with Airdrie, so that's a lot to live up to. But he's been given his chance tonight by David Gray, who knows what it takes to be successful in that position for Hibernian. Hibs have conceded a free kick out on the left hand side, and now Iredale, who has been booked, getting a talking to along with team, and a free kick to contend with, just a few yards in from the left touchline, about 35 yards perhaps from goal. Hibs don't want to be conceding again in these latter stages, but it's nodded down and straight at the goalkeeper. It was Mbabu who got the last touch. He volleyed from point blank range. It fell to him kindly, but he couldn't force it either side of Jordan Smith, who reacted quickly enough to be able to stop it and hold on to it. And that's a big save from Jordan Smith with 10 to play. Still Midtjylland 1, Hibernian 1.
Yeah, it's great hands from Jordan Smith. We were thankful Mbabu put it right down the face of him. But Hibs there lost the first and second contact. Have to concentrate in these parts of the game, the set pieces. Could be a way back into the game in terms of taking the lead for Midtjylland. Big 10 minutes or so for Hibs now.
Yeah, Midtjylland bossing the ball. Hibs only able to really get onto it in flurries on the counter, but it's proving more and more difficult as Mbabu gets the chance to put a cross in. It's knocked away on the edge of the penalty area by Iredale. Picked up though by the captain Beck. He's under a bit of pressure here from Campbell. Can't get the pass beyond him, but it comes off Campbell and out for a throw-in over on the far side. Although the referee has spotted somebody he's not happy with, as Thibaut Clige is about to make his entrance. Martin Boyle is a man who's been replaced. He's trying to give the armband to a teammate, but he's been ushered off the pitch on the far side there by the referee, who is conscious of potential time wasting from the visitors. But here comes the entrance of the Togo international Thibaut Clige, the man David Gray deemed good enough to break the club's transfer record for, as Adam Gabriel also comes on for the home side. So Boyle off and Cleege on for the last 7.5 minutes plus added on time, and a chance for the Hibs fans to get a glimpse of what their new signing is all about. Still goalless at Tannadice between United and Strassen as Midtjylland come forward once more through Sorensen, laid back to Lee. Flick on there by Francolino, but can't find a teammate. It's knocked out of play on this near side. And Babu is the player who has been replaced by Gabriel, and he could so easily have put his side in front just a few moments ago, but his shot from point blank range kept out by Jordan Smith, who has had a good game actually in the Hibs goal. A long throw in being lined up here by the Danish captain Mads Beck from the right hand side this time, and it comes to the 6-yard box. Hibs get it half clear, but only to the edge of the penalty area as Etim picks up possession. Now it's back out to the right hand side, and it's Biskov sends it back in. Smith comes a long way and gets good hands on it, takes the pressure right off his defence and immediately fires it forward looking for Cleege. He's nudged off the ball there. No free kick given though, as it's knocked back to the Danish keeper Jonas Lossel, who would have been as relieved as anyone to see Shimshir's free kick end up in the back of the net at the other end after his mistake contributed to Jamie McGrath's opening goal. It's one apiece with 6 minutes to play out in Denmark, in the town of Herning. Hibs looking to bring a positive result back to Leith for the second leg a week tonight, as forward comes Castillo for Midtjylland. Now it's out on the right hand side and then back with Sorensen about 25 yards from goal. He goes back the way to his captain Beck, out to the left hand side now as Midtjylland try to break Hibs down and might have found a gap here on the left hand side. It's played in, Francolino gets something on it, Smith goes up once more inside his 6-yard box, another good clutch on it there, and Jordan Smith is going to face stiff competition perhaps with the signing of Raphael Salinger, but he's done his cause no harm whatsoever with a really good performance between the sticks for Hibs tonight. And with 5 minutes to play, it's still Midtjylland 1, Hibernian 1. Hibs just cannot keep the ball at the moment though, and it's Francolino picking up right hand side. He was just body checked there by Obita, and the referee is going to produce the card for the Hibs defender there. He tried to let the play go. In fact, I think it's shown 2 separate yellow cards for 2 separate infringements. Initially it was Obita, and then there was a subsequent challenge came in when play was ultimately stopped, and I think possibly Obita and one other Hibs player picked up a yellow card there. Yeah, there was a pull back there by Manny, I think it was, so both he and Obita go into the referee's notebook as Hibs just try and hold on for the draw here in Denmark, which would be a very creditable result. But in comes the free kick, nodded away by the Hibs defence, and they'll try and counter here, and Cleege will try and get onto it. It's just too much in the ball forward, and the goalkeeper's quickly out of his box to clear as Megua picks up and plays it down the right hand side. Looked like it was a foul there on Campbell potentially, and I think the referee agrees, and it will go across there just to make sure there's no afters. But that's the kind of thing that Hibs need to do, Joel, is, you know, win a free kick one way or the other, just get your side up the park, get a little bit of a breather at the back, and just tick down the clock as much as possible.
Yeah, relieve the pressure, manage the game, that's what it's all about now. A lot of tired legs on that pitch, so game management is absolutely crucial. We've given away a few opportunities, free kicks just outside our own 18-yard box in the last few moments, and we need to try and stop doing that because they are very, very dangerous in those situations.
Hibs can make nothing of the free kick though, and Midtjylland will try and burst forwards here. Iredale in the way, but it does break the way of Francolino. He comes forward once more. Iredale again doing a good job, and this time he gets out to the left hand side, can't quite find Josh Campbell, and it'll be out for a Midtjylland throw in just in the halfway line. They're looking to get things moving quickly. They want a goal to give them an advantage to take to Edinburgh in a week's time. Can Hibs hold on and probably you would have to say give themselves the upper hand going into that second leg. Well, it's a miscommunication out on the left-hand side there by Midtjylland, and Hibs will take that all day long, and it's out for a goal kick to Hibs just over a couple of minutes left of the 90, and it's still Midtjylland 1, Hibernian 1, and the legs are tiring, but just a few more minutes to put the work in as Clichy heads it on, but to no one in particular, no other Hibs player up with him. Hoylett tries to close down on this right-hand side up against Gabriel. Now playing it right back for the home side. Beck plays it back infield to Lee. Slightly disappointing, Scott, that the Hibs haven't been able to test what does look like a little bit of a shaky Midtjylland backline more in this second period.
Yeah, I think Dave would be frustrated in terms of the times where they have turned the ball over. What was Midtjylland getting the box got?
Yeah, Sorensen latching onto the ball from Bieskov. Across comes the impressive Iredale to ensure the cross can't come into the box, but it is behind for a corner as we tick towards the final minute of the 90 in Denmark. But it's Midtjylland 1, Hibernian 1. We'll cross to Tannadice very shortly, but they're beyond the half-hour mark, and United still unable to break the deadlock against their Luxembourg opponents as Hibs prepare to face this corner kick from the right-hand side. In it comes, not dealt with entirely, still inside the 6-yard box. Eventually Hibs do get it clear as far as Sorensen. Takes a couple of touches to get it under control and then plays it out to the left-hand side. Back with Sorensen once more, just inside the Hibs half, lofts it back into the penalty area. Lee stayed up there. Bashiri gets his head to the ball inside the box. Lee can't make anything of it. Second time around, then the referee spots an infringement, and again Hibs will absolutely take that. Lee looks flabbergasted as Beck's been shoved to the ground by O'Hara, and with VAR on duty you'll have to be extremely careful. It was perhaps a little bit of an innocuous shove. Beck made the most of it going to ground, albeit he did pick himself immediately back up, but it's just daft getting involved like that, especially when VAR are involved, and the referee had already given the free kick to Hibs, so O'Hara pretty much needlessly getting involved. Beck likewise. I think the referee's going to dish out a yellow card to both of them, and hopefully that will be that. As we move into stoppage time, yellow card shown to both the players there. And Beck was getting involved to try and get Manny back on his feet, and O'Hara, well, I mean,
you've seen them set off for that.
Yeah, you absolutely have, and particularly as you were talking about, with a European referee, and the VAR is also from Germany, and I guess we'll be having a double check of that. O'Hara with the armband now, and he should know better than to get involved as he did there. But hopefully he escapes with nothing more than the yellow card that was initially shown to him. Indeed, the game is back underway, so O'Hara perhaps getting off a little bit with a bit of rush of blood to the head in these final moments. We're into 4 minutes of stoppage time. Could have been worse for Hibs in that sense. We've played one of them already, although maybe that will be added to further because of that brief stoppage there. But still one apiece then in the closing stages. Hibs looking to emerge from this first leg with a really good result, but Midtjylland looking for a late winner here. The ball cut back into the Hibs area but cleared, then comes back in, and again Midtjylland just can't find the quality ultimately with the delivery into the box. And I think we all expected Midtjylland to be a decent side, and I think they definitely are a decent side, Joel, but I've been surprised that they have lacked that bit of composure, if you like, when it's come into the final third.
Yeah, absolutely. They've had a lot of box entries on that occasion there. Megwa allows the Midtjylland player the byline far too easily, but for me the decision, the execution of that cutback wasn't what you expect of a team of Midtjylland's quality.
Here come Hibs, a rear 40 forward in this second half down the right channel, and they'll be looking to just, I would imagine, as much as anything, just hold on to possession rather than necessarily create anything here. As Megwa though knocks it forward into the box. It does come eventually from Campbell out on that right hand side. Midtjylland get it clear though, and Hibs will try and pick up on the loose ball. It's a loose header from Iredale, and that's going to drift out of play here on the near side, and Midtjylland will have the throw in 10 yards inside the Hibs half, quickly taken by Francolino into Castillo in the middle of the park. Now Sorensen. Midtjylland looking for a goal to take a 2-1 advantage across the Easter Road next week. Hibs on the other hand looking to just hold firm. One apiece would do them just nicely as the ball's played forward by Lee. I think the Midtjylland player on the far side knew he was offside, so didn't go for it. Hibs have given up possession really cheaply on that far side and allow Midtjylland to come forward once more. A minute left of the initial 4 added on as Midtjylland send the ball back into the penalty area. The shot comes in from Team, blocked. There's some claims for a handball. They look more hopeful than anything else. The referee certainly didn't see anything amiss in the first instance, although it will be double checked. Team tries to help the ball forward for Francolino. That's cut out and Hibs lash it forward through Obita, and they'll just try and get themselves up the park. Bit of frustration here in the studio from Scott, who wants the ball in the corner, and the ball's knocked out of play by Midtjylland. That's poor from them. We'll just have another little look at this effort that came in from Team. Does it strike a Hibs arm here? No, it's off the chest of Bashiri, put his body in the way. It's a good block. Hibs have a thrown over on the far side, and they'll just look to tick the few final seconds down here. 10 left of the 4 minutes added on. There will be perhaps just a little bit beyond that, but Hibs on the verge of a really impressive European result here in the first leg, and have won themselves a free kick. And I wonder, does this go into the box, Joel Murray, or does this go in at the corner?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd put it in the box. Put it in the box. We've seen the goalkeeper earlier on in the game very uncomfortable in situations like this. So get the ball in the box. Take your chance.
Well, O'Hara, Iredale, Bashiri, they'll all head forwards. Mane and Hoylett over this free kick on the right hand side, just a yard or so in from the touchline, about 20 from the goal line. This is a chance for Hibs to win it at the death and take a 2-1 advantage back to their home ground next week. It's going to be Hoylett to swing it in. It's a deep one. It'll be attacked by Iredale. He did win it, but it's cleared behind. Surely that's a corner. How on earth is that not a corner? There is the final whistle, though. The German referee brings proceedings to a close, and it's a really impressive result for David Gray's Hibernian out in Denmark. They took the leads just 7 minutes in with a Jamie McGrath free kick, which caught out the goalkeeper Jonas Lossel. Wasn't able to claw off the line, and Hibs with a brilliant start to the game and earning that 1-goal advantage early on. Midtjylland, of course, as you would expect, as a quality European side, came into the game as it advanced, and then eventually in the second period, 71 minutes in, got the equaliser, and it was another free kick, a real quality one from Shimshir, who sent it over the wall. A slight deflection off the top of the wall helped take it past Jordan Smith, who I'm not sure would have got there in any case. Hibs still had chances in that second period, and Martin Boyle had a second goal chopped off or offside in the first half as well. But it's a brilliant result, you'd have to say, to take back to Easter Road next Thursday, and this tie is very much alive and kicking. Hibs with a great chance of progressing to the third qualifying round. But the first leg in this Europa League second round qualifier finishes Midtjylland 1, Hibernian 1.